Welcome to lesson 5.9a. Now 5.9 is using rates and having you convert time and distance. And I've learned years of teaching that most of you have a lot of difficulty doing this. So rather than just assuming that you can convert kilometers to meters to centimeters and time, minutes to hours to seconds, I'm going to just go over it all with you again so that you can actually figure it out. Now, one of the things I'm not going to do this time is I'm not going to give you a prescribed method you have to memorize. I'm going to give you a way of thinking to help you, and you have to think, otherwise it's not going to make any sense to you. So in rates, one of the key requirements is the need for converting units between each other. For example, how many meters are there in a kilometer? How many seconds in an hour? How many centimeters in a meter? How many meters in a centimeter? All of these require some practice and a little common sense. Fortunately, they're easy to do if you think. So I'm going to tackle these one at a time. Let's start with millimeters to centimeters. In order to convert millimeters to centimeters, you have to know that there are 10 millimeters in a centimeter. Now, once you know what the magic number is, 10, you have two choices. You can multiply by 10, or you can divide by 10. And after a little bit of practice, you'll get to know which. But let's do both, and then you can eliminate the one that doesn't make any sense. So for example, 25 times 10 is 250. Okay, now remember we're doing millimeters to centimeters. 25 divided by 10 is 2.5 centimeters. Now I want you to imagine in your head how long 25 millimeters is. Remember, millimeter is, well, it's very, very small, but the width of your pencil lead, right, is a millimeter. If you have 25 of them, is it possible for them to equal the same length as 250 centimeters? Okay, or is it more likely that they're equal to 2.5 centimeters? One of these makes no sense. The other one makes sense. Okay, so let's take a look at this. In 25 millimeters, if you were drawing it, would be, well, in my stuff, it's 2.5, it's basically that long, right? 25 millimeters, 25 pencil leads lined up, a really short distance. Now, 250 centimeters would go this way for 2.5 meters. Remember what a meter stick is? Lay out 2.5 of them. I want you to think, is 25, the width of 25 pencil leads equal to 2.5 meter sticks? It's obviously not true. They can't be 2.5 meter sticks. 25 millimeters is way too small. So one does not make sense. This one here does not make sense. So by order of just common sense thinking, you know that 25 millimeters is 2.5 centimeters. I want you to try 167 millimeters and convert that into centimeters. Okay, you should be done by now. 167 millimeters is about, well, on my page, it would be probably about, I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell because I'm blowing up on the smart board. But we have about 167 pencil leads side by side. Just the pencil lead, not the pencil. All right? So we can do a multiplying, 167 times 10, and make that 1,670 centimeters. That's 16 meter sticks long. I think quite obviously that multiplying is not going to work. So divide by 10, 16.7 centimeters makes more sense. All right, now let's go millimeters. So let's go centimeters to millimeters. There's still 10 millimeters in a centimeter. So all we're going to do now is just going to still work with the number 10. So I want to change 135 centimeters into millimeters. I can multiply 135 times 10. That gives me 1350. Or I can divide by 10, and that's 13.5. Now, I want you to think about this. 135 centimeters. 100 centimeters is a meter stick. So we're talking about almost 1.5 meter sticks, right, is our total distance. Remember that a millimeter is about the thickness of a pencil lead. So 13 pencil leads stacked on top of each other, like logs, would they reach 1.35 meters into the air? Answer to that is absolutely not. So this one is not possible. That means it has to be 1,350 millimeters. Okay, you try this one down here, 1.5 centimeters. Okay, so we're multiplying by 10 this time. So 1.5 times 10 is equal to 15 millimeters. And there you go. Okay, so how about centimeters to meters? There is a magic number here. 100 centimeters in every meter. So if that's our magic number, you're going to multiply or divide by 100. So we want to find out 144 centimeters is how many meters. So let's talk about multiplication. If I multiplied 144 by 100, I get 14400. 14,400 meters. Now remember, we're talking about 144 widths of your pinky. That's what a centimeter is, just the width of a pinky. Right? So could you take 144 pinkies, stack them on top of each other, and make 14,000 meter sticks? You can see this is ludicrous. It doesn't make any sense at all. So divide it. That gives you 1.44. And this is the one that makes sense. You try the next one. Okay, so 23 times 100, 2,300, 2,300 meter sticks, or 23 centimeters. Remember your ruler, the longer foot ruler is only 30 centimeters. All right, or you can divide this and get 2.3 meters. Well, I think it's pretty obvious that 23 centimeters is not going to be 2,000 meter sticks. So this one's gone. That means your answer's got to be 2.3. Now, after a while, you're going to get to know how to do these. You won't have to do the comparison. How about meters to centimeters? 1.57 meters is how many centimeters? Well, we have two choices here. We can multiply 157 centimeters, or we can divide 0.0157, right? Centimeters. Now this here is less than a centimeter, all right? This here is 1.5 meters. So it's obvious it can't be this. There's no way 1.5 meters is the same distance as less than 1 centimeter. So your answer has got to be 157. Try the next one. All right, so 35, we can find out how many centimeters it is, 0.35, sorry, times 100 is actually 35 centimeters. Okay, if you divide, you get 0.35 divided by 100, that's 0.0035. So now we're talking about 35 ten-thousandths of a centimeter, or 35 centimeters for something which is just slightly smaller than half a meter. So obviously, it makes no sense. It's got to be 35. Okay, meters to kilometers. There's the magic number. There's 1,000 meters in a kilometer. So 250 meters is how far? Well, we have two choices. We can multiply 250 times 1,000. So that becomes 250,000. So one choice is that 250 meters is 250,000 kilometers. Remember that the diameter of the Earth is only 6,400 kilometers, so that's a long ways. Or you can divide it and get 0.25 kilometers. Now remember, there's 1,000 kilometers and 1,000 meters in a kilometer. 250 is not 1,000 yet. For less than 1 kilometer. So the only one that makes sense is this one. All right. The next one, 34.67 kilometers. You try that one. All right. Got to multiply. So 3, 4, 6, 7, 0, 0, 0. Are you telling me that 3,000 meters is equal to 3 million kilometers? I don't think so. Can't. So this is actually 3.467 kilometers. Now remember, 1,000 is 1 kilometer, so 3,000 would be 3 kilometers. So this one here is the correct answer. Okay, kilometers back to meters this time. 1.45 kilometers. The one thing I can do is multiply. I'm going to get 1,450 meters. Or I can divide and get 0.00145 of a meter. Now this is tenths, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000. So this is 145 100,000th THS of a meter. Or 1.45 kilometers is 1,450 meters. That is the correct answer. Okay, you try the next one. All right, multiplying, you're going to go and get 80 meters here. Dividing, you're going to get 0.00008. So you're talking about 0.08 kilometers, right? Which is either 80 meters, or I guess this is tenths, hundred thousandths, 10,000, 8/100,000th THS of a meter. So this one, nah, it's got to be that one. Going down. Some of the other magic numbers you may want to know. A meter is 1,000 millimeters. A kilometer is 1,000. Is a million millimeters, and a kilometer is also 100,000 centimeters. So you can write these numbers down sometimes, and it'll be helpful for you. I will be able to tell you what your magic numbers are on tests and stuff, but how to use them is going to be up to you. Okay, so that's our distance stuff. Now let's talk about time. The time's not so easy as distance, because in time we have actually got 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, 365 days in a year. So the numbers aren't always tens, hundreds. So the math actually gets a little bit more difficult here. So let's take a look at 1,180 seconds. So we know that there's 60 seconds in a minute. We're going from seconds to minute. So I have two choices. I can divide by 60, or I can multiply by 60. The advantage of time is we're all more familiar with it, so finding out whether it's correct or not is easier. So 1,180 divided by 60 is 19.67 minutes. Alternatively, it's 70,800 minutes. I want you to think about that. 1,180 seconds. Is that closer to 19 minutes roughly? Or is that closer to 70,000? And I think 70,000 is like really, really way out there. Okay? So this is your correct answer right here. Let's go to the next one. You try that one. Okay, dividing by 60, 56 divided by 60 is 0.93. If you multiply by 60, you get 3,360 minutes. Now remember, 56 seconds is less than a minute. So if it's less than a minute, it cannot be 3,000 minutes. It has to be that one. Okay, let's go minutes to seconds this time. The magic number is still 60. There's 60 seconds in a minute. Oh, sorry. Minutes to seconds. I'm going back the other way. Okay. So now the magic number is still 60. So we have 346 minutes. We want to convert that to seconds. So if we divide by 60, we end up with 5.77. So you're telling me that 346 minutes is 5.77 seconds. If you think about it, it makes no sense at all. You can multiply by 60. That will give you 20760. Right? Now, even if you don't know if this one makes sense, this one absolutely makes no sense, right? There's no way that 346 minutes can be 5 seconds. So it's got to be 2760. All right? Try this one. Okay? So the next one is how many minutes, take 0.35 minutes, 0.3 minutes, and convert them into seconds. Now remember, 0.3 minutes is not 30 seconds. Okay? Don't go there. 0.3 is 3/10 of a minute. Right? So 30 minutes, you can do one of two things. You can divide by 60, and that is 0.05 seconds. 5/100ths of a second. Or you can multiply by 60 and get 18 seconds. Now remember, 0.3 of a minute is about a third of a minute. That means this one has to be correct. There's no way that 0.3 minutes is ever going to be 0.05 seconds. That's like so short, it doesn't make sense. Moving on. Seconds to hours now. The magic number in this case, 3,600. Now you can do this one with two conversions. You can go from seconds to minutes and then minutes to hours. Do two conversions at 60, or you can do it in one conversion because 60 times 60 is 3,600. So here we go. How many seconds to hours? I have 25,456 seconds. I want to know how many hours that is. If I multiply, excuse me, I'm going to have 8,442,000 hours for 25,000 seconds. And I want you to think about that. 25,000 seconds is 8,000 hours, 8 million hours. There's more hours there than there are seconds. So that one is definitely out. Now, when you divide, you get 0.65, which makes more sense. Okay? That can't be right. Looking at the wrong number here. Oh, yeah, I had my finger on the wrong number. Let's fix this. I was doing the question down below. All right. Still doesn't make any sense because it's even worse. This one is actually 91,641,600. All right, so 25,000 seconds is 91 million hours. I don't think so. Now when you do the other one, it's 7.07. There we go. Okay, so obviously this one's correct. Trying the next one, I already wrote the answers out for you, so I'll do it right for you. If you multiply, you get 8,442,000 hours, or you get 0.65 hours. Now remember that 3,600 is 1 hour, and so 2, 3, 4, 5, that's actually less than the 3,600, so you have to be less than 1 hour. So it has to be this one. Okay, hours to seconds, still 3,600. So now let's do some math here. Let's see if you can try this one. Okay, I think I said I'll see if you can try this one. Try this one. Okay, so 1.4 hours is equal to how many seconds? So let's multiply first. That gives you 5,040 seconds. Let's divide. 0.0039 seconds. Now think about it. 1 hour. Is that the same as 0.0039 seconds? This is 3 thousandths of a second, or 39 ten-thousandths of a second. It cannot be. Okay? Try the next one. All right. Multiplying, you get 1620. Dividing, you get 0.000125. So tenths, hundreds, thousandths, 10,000s, 100,000s. This is 125 millionth THS. All right? That's a lot. That's a very short amount of time. So there's no way that 45% of an hour is that little second. Okay, hours to days. The magic number, there are 24 hours in a day. So you have to multiply by 24 or divide. So I've got 256 hours. How many days is that? If I multiply, I get 6,144. So you're telling me that 256 hours is 6,144 days. Remember, there's only 365 days a year. So we're talking about, I don't know, 15 years for 256 hours. Or 10.67. So 256 makes more sense because if you have 24 hours is equal to 1 day, and you have 250 hours, or 200, just round it off to 240, and that's 10. So it has to be, just by using some estimation, it's got to be 10.67. Okay, and for the third one, try this one. All right, so multiplying to 0.24, less than 1 hour, if you multiply, is 10.08 days. Or, if you divide, you get 0.0175 days. Now remember, we're less than an hour, right? There's 24 hours in a day, and we're less than an hour. So there's no way that something less than an hour could be equal to 10 days. So it's got to be this one. Okay, turn the page. Days to hours. Going back the other way now. So, for days to hours, How many hours are there in 23 days? Now our magic number is still 24 hours in a day, so we can multiply by 24, and that would give us, it's the right numbers this time, 552, or we can divide, get 0.96. Now take a look. Is 23 days the same as 0.96 hours? This is less than 1 hour. How can 23 days be less than an hour? That means 552 has to be correct. You try the next one. Okay. So again, we're working with 24, so you can multiply by 24. If you do that, you're going to get 8.4 hours. If you divide, you're going to get 0.015 hours. So which one makes sense? Well, there's no way that 0.35, which is around a third of a day cannot be less than an hour. So it actually has to be this one. Here are some other things that you may want to know because they make conversions a little bit easier. There's 365 days in a year. If you want to be really accurate and include the leap year, it's 365.25 exactly. All right, there's 12 months in a year, there's 52 weeks in a year, and there's 7 days in a week. Now these last three obviously don't include the leap year calculation. So I have an assignment handout that I would give you at this point if you were in the class and you would complete it. But you obviously are at home. So if I give it to you, finish it, and if you have any troubles, go back to all these examples. All right. It might be wise for you to take some of these numbers, which are your magic numbers, and just write them down on the side of your notes somewhere so that you actually have them for next time. So, okay. So we'll see you in the next lesson.